Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another review video. This time I came home to this sitting on my doorstep. I was contacted by, I believe the company name is SuperEQ, and I've been on a bit of a headphone binge actually recently. I just purchased a Sony XM3, I don't know, whatever the model number for that one is, and I've been using that like crazy. And so when they sent me this, I was thinking, okay, yeah, it's definitely a cheaper pair of headphones. These guys are only about, I think, 50 or 60 bucks. So definitely not cheap, but also not nearly as expensive as the Sonys were. But I was actually interested. So sub $100 noise canceling headphones. How well do they actually work? So anyway, so when they said that, they wanted me to take a look at these, I was like, okay, sure. And I can't help but kind of do this review as a comparison to the Sonys. I know that's not fair, but it could go one of two ways. It could be that this is actually a really good deal for a fraction of the price, or it could be that this is much cheaper and thus, much less capable than the Sonys. But it's kind of up in the air at this point until I actually try these on and give these a listen. Anyway, funky art going on. Be young, be free. And you can see I got the white pair. This also comes in black as well. And yeah, nice box. Let's see. Specifications. It says up to 40 hours if it has noise canceling on and Bluetooth. 45 if it's just Bluetooth, 50 if it's just noise canceling. These do have an audio jack input and an auxiliary input, so you can use these with anything. You don't have to use a Bluetooth. And let's see. Yeah, 40 millimeter driver diameter, etc., etc. And I mean, packaging looks really funky. It looks like something out of, I don't know, the 80s or something. With all these bright super colors and like simplistic shapes and whatnot. Anyway, we'll just get into this right now. So pop it open, and it does come with one of these. I think this is like plastic leather, like artificial leather, and it at least does come with some sort of case. Given the price point, that's, I guess, a nice extra. It's not particularly thick, but it'll protect the headphones if you throw them in a bag. But I don't expect this to, take a lot of abuse before getting all scratched up and whatnot. Anyway, the headphones themselves actually have pretty decent amount of weight to them, which could be an issue when you put them on your head, especially if the clamping force is high and the weight is kind of significant. Then that could have an issue with comfort. I'll try these on in a second anyway, just to see. One thing I do notice, there is actually a little bit of, like, it's like a ball joint actually, which I do like to see. So most headphones will pivot in and out in this direction, but a lot of the cheaper ones don't actually pivot side to side as well, because your ears aren't perfectly perpendicular to your head. So that should help alleviate a little bit. I might have wanted to see maybe more like rotational freedom, but it does seem like it's actually rather loose, the earphones themselves, so that might actually be good. And oh yeah, they have silk screening on the inner fabric here for left and right, and you can just about see the drivers through them. They are significantly large. They're about, I don't know, about the size of a $50 or something like that. And we have the Be Young, and of course, don't forget to be free while being young. We have the headphone slots, which are towards the top. And I don't see any other ones. These Sonys that I've been using, I think they have something ridiculous, like 4 or 8 microphones on the headphones themselves in different locations, so that they can, measure the sound from different angles and whatnot. And we do have kind of this standard ratcheting mechanism, and it is plastic, which generally is bad, but they were actually smart, and they have a supporting metal brace. So that should provide some springiness, so that, the weakest point is always going to be kind of this this articulating hinge mechanism, so they at least put some thought into that. It does seem that the band itself is also, there must be a metal, yeah, you can just about see metal inside there as well. It does kind of feel like there maybe is a high clamping force. If we increase, this makes it a little bit better if we increase the sides there. Now it only does ratchet out, you know, a couple of clicks, maybe about an inch on each side. So if you have a very big head, these might not fit. If you have a very small head like this, it should work fine. Anyway, we have a, I believe a power button here. And then we have a three-way like multifunction. I'm guessing play, pause, volume up and down, and probably if you double click or triple click the middle button, it'll track skip. And we have, this is actually metal. Yeah, it's cold. I think. Here. Yeah, I think it's actually aluminum on the end cap, so it's not completely plastic. And just kind of wiggling these around. The ear pads click a little bit, not really squeak or rattle, but I think that's the ball joint mechanism. But if I just hold it by here, yeah, there's a little bit of give. And maybe I'll use this for about a week, and hopefully the springiness subsides a little bit so it doesn't clamp my head. The top, I gotta say, it's kind of more rubber. I think that is actually some kind of rubber rather than, you know, that leather type material that the ear pads are made of. That does seem kind of stiff, so that might kind of apply pressure to the top of the head. But the ear pads are actually pretty good looking. There's kind of a lot of suppleness to it, sort of memory foamy, a little bit. Looks like there's a little bit of schmutz on here. Probably just from manufacturing or whatnot, but I'm pretty sure this is like that plastic leather kind of stuff again, so that should wipe off pretty easily. Anyway, yeah, let's put it on my head. You guys won't see this, but yeah, I might be talking a little louder than before. Apologies if that's so, but it normally, even off, it actually does kind of block out quite a lot of sound. So at least the passive isolation is pretty good. And having them on my ears, at least my ears, I just had to take them off for a second so I can hear myself. Thing I like about them, my ears don't actually touch this foam bit or the cloth bit inside. On the Sonys, they do, and after a while, it just sort of makes my ears like kind of sweaty and itchy, and I kind of don't like that. These, they don't seem to, at least it's a deep enough pocket, it looks like, for my ears that I don't really feel it. I will definitely give these a longer, you know, I'll try wearing these for like an hour or two straight and see if any of that changes as the ear pads compress. But anyway, yeah, let's just fire it on. I forgot to mention, it does have a micro USB for charging. I really would have liked to see Type-C. It is what it is, though. We have the aux port on that side as well. And let's just fire these up, see if there's any battery shipped with. Yeah, it's a white LED, just flashed once. And I can hear that it's basically that Chinese woman saying, you know, Bluetooth connected or power on, whatever. I heard it from there. I know that ticks off a lot of people, just because it's sort of a little, I don't know why it ticks off people, actually, to be fair. It's a little odd, I guess, but it doesn't really bother me. I have tons of Bluetooth speakers and whatnot that all have that same voice. They probably use all the same voice files for that. But I've just gotten used to it. It really doesn't bother me anymore. But yeah, so I'm actually going to have to pair it to the phone that I'm recording on. So I'm going to shut this off right now and use this for about a week and get back to you, see how it holds up. Going to do some heavy listening sessions, like at least 2 to 3 hours straight, and see if these can hold any, if they can even hold like a tenth of a candle to the Sony XM3s, then I would say that this is actually worth the asking price, but we'll see. I'll get back to you in a sec. For you guys, it'll be a sec, but for me, it'll be about a week or two. Almost forgot to mention, comes with your usual assortment of warranty and instructions and etc., etc. But it actually, geez, I almost choked on choked on something. But it actually comes with a couple goodies as well. You get your obligatory like 3-inch micro USB cable. That's just sort of, yeah. But it does come with an auxiliary cable that does seem like it's actually decent quality. At least the overmolding is much better than other ones I've seen. And if you stretch it out, it's about maybe 2.5 feet long. So it's actually decent enough and decent quality. And it comes with one of these airplane adapters that I don't know if I haven't been on a plane in a number of years. I don't know if they still have these or if they're just using regular 3.5 mil jacks now. But anyway, okay, so I've had about a week, a little over a week, probably about a week and a half of use on this guy. And these are my findings. So, like I said, this is about a $60 pair of headphones. So as unfair as it might be, I'm going to pretty much be comparing it to my other newest pair of headphones, which are the Sony XM3s. And these are, there's a newer version of this, the XM4s, and these are kind of like the higher end pair of noise canceling headphones, and these guys are fantastic, but they cost about $200 to $300 depending on where you look. So they're not cheap. That's the only thing on these guys. These guys are significantly cheaper. They're only about $60 as of the filming of this video. And things I like about these pair of headphones, I really like the folding nature of it, and the actual hinges are all metal supported, so these should actually survive pretty well. Now the Sonys are all plastic, and I think these sidearms are a known failure point on these Sonys. So after a while, usually they end up cracking or splitting, and I see a lot of them online. People tape them up with like electrical tape. So that's a bit how you do them, but these actually look like they will survive quite a bit of stress and use, so very happy with that. The actual sliding mechanism gives you definitely enough extension on each of the sides. Doesn't feel cheap. They feel pretty springy, and yeah, I'm actually very happy with that. I'm not so happy about the articulation on the cups themselves. There's a little bit of wiggle left and right, but after I can wear these for about an hour before I start feeling that pinching sensation around my ears and kind of at my jawline. So they're definitely not as comfortable as these Sonys, but you know, at a fraction of the price. I think that's sort of where they drew the line. Another thing is the top of the headband. It's like this rubber material, which is great that, you know, you can easily wipe it off. It doesn't like absorb any sweat or anything like that. It probably will never get funky. But it's a little bit stiff. I wish they'd use maybe something a little softer. After a while, other than the points at around my jaw where I start feeling pressure, I also feel the weight of the headphones at the top of my head, and it starts to get a little bit sore at around the hour mark. So these are things that I think could be definitely improved. The actual ear pads themselves are fantastic. They're like this memory foam. They're really soft and plush. If the clamping pressure were a little less, I think the foam pads would definitely take up some of that stress, and these would be a little bit more comfortable. But that's another thing. I'm guessing as you wear it, you'll stretch the band out a little bit, and that'll make them a little bit loose. So I think putting another like 100 hours into these or something like that, and they will get a little more comfortable. It's just right out of the box. Comfort is only about like a 5 out of 10, I would rate it. Something like that. They're definitely nowhere near the worst I've ever used. I've had some headphones that I can't wear for 10 minutes before they start giving me a migraine. These are definitely significantly better than those, but they're nowhere near the Sonys in terms of the actual comfort of the headphones themselves. Now, other things I had mentioned when you power it on and off. I thought there was a Chinese voice. It's actually an English speaking person's voice that does the voiceover. So the people who are slightly annoyed about having a woman tell you about your battery level and your connection state and whatnot, it's at least a native English speaker. Not that it really matters. Flexibility is really good. I'm actually not worried about these throwing them in a bag, even though the Sonys come in a hard shell case, which is nice. These only come with this kind of pleather case, and I was a little worried about these getting damaged just throwing them in the backpack, but no, they're perfectly fine. They're pretty rigid actually for what they are. The noise canceling on these, I'll be honest, they're nowhere near as good as the Sonys, but they actually aren't bad either. Definitely these struggle with kind of higher frequency noises, but in terms of like bass stuff, like having fans running, they will remove most of the bass from that. Having a fridge running, you won't hear the fridge at all in the background. I took these to work and you can hear people talking kind of the upper frequency ranges. It has trouble blocking out, but everything, it takes all that droning machinery kind of sounds out of the picture. So it does pretty good on those. I would say that that's in line kind of with what I would have expected from about a $50 or $60 pair of headphones. So definitely pretty good on that. As for the general sound quality on these, I would say if you like bass, that's what these are definitely tailored towards bass heads. The bass is actually pretty good. It's not very tight though. It's sort of more of that boomy commercial, to market towards people who listen to like hip hop and rock and that kind of stuff. So they're definitely fun to listen to in terms of that. But don't get these assuming that they're going to be like a very flat response studio pair of reference headphones. That's not at all what these are marketed towards. So yeah, if you just want something that is fun to listen to for relatively short periods of time, so for about an hour at a time, these will work fine for you. I did find that bass and mids, pretty decent on these. The high end wasn't so clear, and I think that has to do with the fact that they over accentuate the bass a bit. So a lot of the higher frequency stuff tends to come out a bit muddled and not as clean and clear as the Sonys. And that's generally though what a lot of headphones strive towards, sort of like the Skull Candy or Beats approach to audio, which is flare out your basses, make them heavy and over accentuated, and then have decent mids but not so great highs. It's kind of what you would expect from kind of a consumer oriented pair of headphones. So yeah, these are not studio monitors. Do not expect that you will get studio monitors. But they're definitely fun to listen to. I think in terms of the sound quality, they're kind of in the sweet spot for the price range. And you can definitely find headphones that look like this that are cheaper, significantly cheaper, in like the $30 range. Those will have worse sound quality for the most part. And obviously on the other side of the coin, you'll find headphones like these Sonys, which cost five times the cost or so, whatever. And those are significant, going to be significantly higher sound quality, but then again, you're paying for a lot more. So if you just want something that you can throw in a bag and not have to worry about babying, these are actually a pretty good pair of headphones. Build quality is definitely done very nicely. It's not like they cheaped out on the actual physical build itself. I think maybe it's just like a couple small things, like using micro USB. The design of the headphones themselves could be a little bit better, like the articulation on the sockets, and just small things like that would keep me from saying that these are an absolute must buy. But definitely, if you're looking for around a $50 pair of headphones, check these out. They actually were significantly better than I thought they'd be. Not perfect, but better. Another thing I want to quickly test out is the Sonys actually have removable headbands, and I just wanted to see maybe if these did too, or if they're permanently in there. I can kind of feel, I don't want to really wreck these because I can already feel maybe this ear pad part is glued to here. So yeah, I'm guessing you would have to kind of get in there and maul some of the plastic with like a flat blade, like a dull knife or something like that. So yeah, in terms of replaceability of these ear pads, I don't even think they sell replacement ear pads. So especially the white pair, I'm worried about. There's already a little bit maybe of discoloration after about a week and a half of use. They're still pretty clean, but I can definitely see the white. Yeah, there's some kind of schmutz there. The white ones are going to get dirty much faster. So if you are going to get a pair, I would suggest a darker pair. That'll hide any kind of like sweat stains and that kind of stuff, disgusting stuff that's going to happen over time, inevitably. And it doesn't look like you can easily replace the ear pads or anything. So once these go, you have to get a new pair of headphones, and that's sort of unfortunate. The Sonys, obviously being significantly costlier, have easy to remove pads, and they're widely available. You can easily find a pair of new pads. They're only about $10. These guys, yeah, you're just sort of stuck with the ones that it comes with, and when they go, you got to get new headphones. So yeah, not too happy about that. I would like to see a lot of like these lower end headphone manufacturers design to accept, commonly available generic ear pads, something like that, because I'm betting after about a year I'm going to want to replace these ear pads, and so spending $60 on a new pair of headphones every year is sort of unacceptable. By that point, I'd rather just buy a nicer pair of headphones with user changeable, consumable parts. But yeah, if you guys are interested, links will be down below for this guy. All in all, I would say that's not a bad investment if you just want not to spend, a massive amount of money on a pair of headphones, but get ones that won't sound like crap right out of the box. And these definitely do live up. They worked a little bit better than I thought they would in terms of the noise canceling. They sounded halfway decent, not amazing. But I'm definitely taking into account the price point as well in order to match that in. Oh yeah, just before I forget, battery life on these are actually really good. Now they're rated for 45 hours, and I put about, I want to say like an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, not continuous, but spread out over the day into using these. And after about a week, I still had easily over half the battery life. So I can definitely see these lasting for the 45 hours that they claim. And that was with a mix of using the active noise canceling, using the pass-through audio, as well as turning it off. So I listen under a range of different conditions, and the battery definitely held up pretty well, I would say. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.